Hello everyone and welcome back to Potted Plant Entertainment. My name is Chris and in case you don't know, I review movies and I rank them on a scale of 0 to 100 in increments of 5. I hope you're enjoying the new camera angle because I think I might stick with this. I like it myself. So today I want to honor one of the best directors who ever lived. In case you don't know, recently, I think it's been like a couple of weeks, Richard Donner has passed away. He directed my all-time favorite movie, Lethal Weapon, and today I decided to honor him by reviewing one of the movies that he's best known for, which is The Goonies. So The Goonies wasn't exactly a movie that I grew up with. I saw it one time when I was a kid, similar to The Sandlot. I have the exact same history with this movie as I do with The Sandlot. I saw it one time when I was a kid. I sat down, I watched it from beginning to end, never watched it again. But recently, I decided that I should revisit this film because it's been so long. It's been like over 10 years since I'd seen the film. Same thing for The Sandlot. So I revisit it, and The Sandlot was better than I remember it being. This one actually wasn't quite as good as I remember it being, but I still loved it. So let's talk about The Goonies. I have my notes on this piece of paper here because my stuff keeps disappearing. My book, my notebook, my pen, my copy of Rush. Can't find my copy of Rush. That's why this is here. And my flip-flops. All my stuff is disappearing. I don't know where all my stuff is going. So I wrote my notes on a piece of paper. Anyway, so The Goonies came out in 1985, and it stars Sean Astin, Josh Brolin, Jeff Cohn, Corey Feldman, Ke Huy Quan, Kerry Green, Martha Plimpton, John Matuszak, Robert Davi, Joe Pantoliano, and Anne Ramsey. It was directed by Richard Donner. It was produced by Steven Spielberg, Frank Marshall, and Kathleen Kennedy, the famous producing trio. So this movie tells the story of a group of friends whose neighborhood is about to be demolished for contractors to move in and build like a golf course or something. And one of the kids, who's played by Sean Astin, and his brother Josh Brolin, their father and maybe their father's father, whatever, I like looked for this treasure. Spent a lot of time looking for this treasure, and they're looking through his old stuff that he had collected. And they decided to take this stuff and go on one last adventure with each other before their neighborhood is demolished and they're all forced to move away from each other. Let's get into why I love The Goonies. So The Goonies is like a really iconic movie. Everybody knows The Goonies. Even if you've never seen The Goonies, you know The Goonies, okay? It's one of those movies that everyone has heard of. It's a really iconic film. And the things about it that are iconic, I love. Like, everybody remembers the Truffle Shuffle, right? And of course, Sloth. Everybody remembers Sloth. You know, he's like one of the most lovable movie characters of all time. Hey, you guys! Right? One of the most famous movie quotes of all time. Which brings me to my next thing I love about this movie, which is that it's very quotable. There are a few famous lines from this movie, that being probably the most popular. My dog's here. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, hi, doggy. And I love the cast of this movie. This is a really well-casted film. It's hard to get great child actors, but when you do, it's usually something really special. And they had an amazing ensemble for this movie. All these kids had great chemistry with each other, and you really believe that these were like longtime friends. You know, I mean, they're young, so they've had short lives, but you really believe that they're longtime friends and they've all gotten to know each other. They have great chemistry with each other, and the characters are really likable. I always like Chunk, because Chunk is just really, really funny. He's a really, really funny character. The guy who plays Short Round is in this movie. He's a great character as well because he has all these cool gadgets with him, and he's obsessed with James Bond, and he likes to be like James Bond. It's just really, really good character writing here. Of course, Corey Feldman. Everybody liked Corey Feldman when he was a kid, and he's just as great in this as he was in Stand By Me and Gremlins. Yeah, he's pretty awesome. Corey Feldman was a real OG. I think he still does a little bit of acting, but he's not as big as he was when he was a kid, obviously. This movie has such a great sense of imagination, too. I love a movie when you can tell that a lot of imagination went into it, and it's very obvious with this film. Like, they encounter these cool booby traps, which, to a lot of people, they're kind of cheesy when you're an adult, but I still think they're cool. Especially the piano one. There's this great riveting scene where one of the characters is playing this piano, and every time you mess up, a fourth of the floor will fall out from under you. And so she's got to play it right to get this door open. Really, really, really cool stuff, in my opinion. And of course, we all love seeing the giant pirate ship, which was the big thing that you see toward the end of the film. And actually, a fun fact for you, they hid that from the kids, so that when they all fell down that water slide and they came out, fell in the water, and they were there with the ship, that was the first time that they were seeing it, so they get their genuine reactions to seeing this big pirate ship sit right there in this underground cove. And it's really, really, really cool. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a film, is the reveal of this pirate ship. The practical effects are really good as well. Now, there are some non-practical effects in this movie that don't exactly hold up, but the practical effects in the film do hold up. The set design is amazing. The set builders for this movie cannot be praised enough. They made some of the coolest sets I have ever seen in a film. It's a lot of fun to watch. This movie is a lot of fun. It's always fun to watch them go through this cavern and encounter booby trap after booby trap and trial after trial. It's just this great adventure. This movie has such a great sense of adventure. The music is really good as well. I forget who composed the music for this, but he did a really good job. It's really good music, and it's a very funny film. Chunk is hilarious. I mentioned earlier, Chunk is freaking hilarious. And then there's one time I done fake vomit on people at the movie theater, and then they all started throwing up on each other, and I never felt bad for in my life. He's freaking hilarious. Sorry, I won't do that again. And this movie has such a great sense of wonder and awe. It's not exactly to the extent of Jurassic Park, which has like the best wonder and awe moments in cinema history, but it does have some pretty cool moments where you're like, whoa, that is pretty cool. Now, this is not a perfect movie, so I will get into my cons with this. For one thing, it's kind of cartoonish. One of the things that Ke Huy Quan, his gadgets, like I told you, he has a lot of these cool gadgets. He likes to invent stuff. One of the things that he makes is this, the teeth, the chattering teeth. He puts them on the spring, and the spring will latch out. He uses it a couple of times in the film. It'll latch out and it'll grab something. And it holds on really tight. It can support his weight. And I'm just like, that doesn't really make any sense. There's moments like that. And this is another thing that I think is super weird with this film. Sean Astin is the main character of this film. And the pirate of this treasure that they're looking for, he sort of talks to him like he's God or something. It's kind of weird, actually. Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. And then there's too much setup. One of the common complaints I hear about this film is that it takes too long to get to the plot, or to the adventure part, and it does, but all the setup stuff is really entertaining as well, so it doesn't bother me too much. But they're right, it does take its, at some point you're like, all right, come on, let's go. I want to see the cool pirate stuff, But with all that being said, this is a fantastic film, and I'm gonna give it a 90. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to Party Player Entertainment for more. Hit the like button, leave me reviews, suggestions down in the comments down below. Follow me on Instagram and Tumblr at Party Player Entertainment for channel updates, written movie reviews, and much love.